What's he give that for?
Contact sports is absolutely messy.
And from a moment where Liverpool looked like they could have scored, it's a penalty.
And now it's a penalty to Galatasaray.
One clean sheet, يا ولاد الكلب. One clean sheet, it's a dream.
Let's have a look at that. These are not his specialty, but I believe in Ali. Oshimin steps up and he scores right down the middle.
Score straight down the middle. 1-0 Galatasaray. And by the way, that was the worst camera angle I've ever seen for a penalty as well. It was horrendous. But 1-0 Galatasaray.
So penalty, yes! We win the penalty. No penalty.
I thought that I was over
Ibu! That's a pen. Ibu goes down. Such a pen, come on! That's why we don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing. Oh, don't you believe.
Please don't tell me it's gonna get overturned. Oh no, it's gonna be VAR. Nah, bro, I can't do it. I was so hyped. No. It's gonna be VAR. No penalty.
Mama say, mama say, mama usa. Mama say, mama say, mama usa. Spence flick that there. Why did Spence flick that there? Why did Spence flick that there? Why did Spence flick that there?
Oh, what a goal.
Thomas Frank is a pussy cart! Rubbish! Look at this! Walter Maida, I love you!
Welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Wednesday. I don't know why we all got mixed around there. Welcome back. An epic night of Champions League football to review. Some big shouts from Jamie Carragher slamming Arne Slot's approach to the game at the moment. We're delving into this mini crisis at Liverpool because the fans, some Liverpool fans are really starting to lose their minds. A lot turning on Slot already. Some people being misrepresented as well. I saw people posting your old clip there, Husam, last night. So we're delving into that on the show. We're asking whether Tottenham's honeymoon period is over. Again, last night, a lot of Spurs fans online really going in on Thomas Frank. Fossil football claims, not good enough, which I thought was a real interesting one. And we're delving into the PGMOL. They've been exposed again as absolute bald-faced liars as far as I'm concerned. We have the clips to prove it, but we want to get your views as an audience on this as well. But Husam, Mo, always a pleasure Wednesday afternoons to sit here and talk. And Husam, I see that look on your face. I know that look, bro. Mine's even worse. My team's even worse than yours.
He's comparing Man United to Liverpool. He's putting Man United and Liverpool in the same sentence. No, you're shameless.
I know the feeling. I've been crying as well. Do you like the song? Do you like the song for the opening montage? One of my favorite songs of all time.
I don't like
crying.
Montage. No, I don't.
I've been crying over you. See, that song's very famous in England because there was an amazing sitcom called Only Fools and Horses. And I don't want to, if you ever watch it. And there's a singer in it, and they do this whole thing, and he sings crying. But you know those people that when they say their R's, they sound like W's. So they'll say was or I'm weeding something or
yeah.
So when he sings it, he doesn't sing crying, he sings crying. It is funny when you watch it. So there's a very famous song here in England. I was glad. Big up to my friend Danielle who recorded. That's actually a woman's voice. She sung it and we just slow it down. So thank you very, very much for recording that for us. It means a lot. But Loads, where do you want to start today? Do you want to start with the PGMOL or do you want to start with Liverpool? Go on, Mo, you decide.
I think we should start with the PGMOL, and then we'll let the people join in, and then we'll build up the audience, and then let's go Liverpool. I think it's better with the PGMOL.
Yeah, so we'll start with that. Look, for me, I don't know how much you guys have seen of this, but Howard Webb we'll play you what he said first of all. This is what he said about Arsenal's overturned penalty at the weekend. Let's take a listen.
It looked like the referee took a little bit of convincing. He had a good look at it at the monitor, which is absolutely fine. But are you happy that it was such a wrong decision that it needed reversing? Because some people still think, even though there was a touch, it was still a penalty. Are you happy that it was almost like clear and obviously enough to reverse the decision?
Yeah, I am. I mean, you know, we work with referees' call. It's an important principle in the Premier League where the call will be made on the field by the referee. It'll only get overturned if, when the VAR looks at the footage, he sees no reason at all to support the decision. There's no mix of considerations. It's a clear error. In this one, when you see Pope reach out with that foot, play the ball cleanly before making any contact with the opponent. In fact, he doesn't really make contact with the opponent. They come together as a normal consequence of that clean challenge by Pope. The referee hadn't recognised that touch. That was important. The VAR saw it and deemed it was a clear error. I agree with the VAR's intervention, so the referee can go to the screen, look at the full sequence, see that touch, see that there was a normal playing action by Pope, and the penalty was rightly cancelled.
Now, before we go any further, because I don't want you guys to miss out on this, so he's essentially saying there was a slight... You heard his words, like there was no reason to give the penalty. It wasn't a penalty. Pope, his foot touched the ground as the contact happened, so therefore it isn't a foul. It's like a coming together. Again, another sort of half precedent he set here. But this was him talking about a very similar scenario. So a little bit of this is blurred, ladies and gentlemen, because it shows Premier League footage. So we have to blur it, but we put some stills in for you. This was him talking about an almost identical situation a short while ago.
Small touch there. He clips the ball there, as you see. Let's just have another look, because it is slight, but there's definitely a touch there. Now, is this what you're saying? This was given a penalty, wasn't it? I mean, he brought him down quite clearly, but there was a touch there. A lot of people will say, well, the defender touched it.
Yeah, and this, how ironic, it's the same game last year between the same two teams at the same place. Yeah, this was given as a penalty to Arsenal, fully accepted as such, because they see Jesus knock the ball. Yes, it hits Lamptey's leg. Lamptey doesn't play the ball away. It hits his leg, and then there's that follow-through onto Jesus, brings him down. Jesus was still moving onto that ball in the way that Pedro might have moved onto that ball as well. So there's similarities in terms of that touch, and we see in both situations that touch occur, but it doesn't negate the award of the penalty.
So, again, as you saw in the still shot, Lamptey puts his foot out to try and win the ball like Pope did, gets a slight touch like Pope did. His foot then touches on the ground. As he touches the ground, Gabriel Jesus goes to run past him.
I don't see the issue with this at all.
Let me finish explaining. Goes to run past him, hits his leg because he's going to go onto the ball, penalty given. It's the wording I'm focusing on here, because he's saying that no reason to give Nick Pope's. Zero. Absolutely correct decision to overturn it. On this penalty, which is very similar, correct decision to award it, 100% right to award it, and it explains why. When both scenarios are very similar, where a forward has put the ball past a goalkeeper or a defender. Both keeper and defender have tried to win the ball and got slight touches. Both have then planted their feet on the floor. There's then been contact, which has stopped the attacker from getting onto the ball. And his explanation for both is they're both correct decisions when they're both very similar. For me, I cannot understand the duplicity in this, but I'm going to hand it over to you guys. I'll go to Sam first as he spoke on it. You don't think there's an issue here yourself?
Yeah, I don't think there was an issue yesterday. I don't think there was an I don't think there was an issue in any of the clip. Big up Neeks in the chat as well, who says the same thing that you get me, that I was thinking, which is, he says, in fairness to Webb, the difference is that Lamptey follows through into Jesus, whereas Pope doesn't. You get me? So that's the thing for me. I think there is a clear difference. If you scroll up a little bit, you see Nick's comment, which I agree with him completely. Yeah, which I agree with him completely. I don't think it's
complete lie, but fine. It's
okay, go ahead.
It's interpretation to
three words. He interrupted me. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's upset already. I mean, your team losing has nothing to do with us.
Complete lie, but okay. So Terry Fleur starts. So he's like, Husam, since you disagree with us, boss, tell us your opinion. I start speaking after 3 words. He interrupts me.
Okay.
What brain on the planet can comprehend information in 3 seconds? What brain on the planet? Not yours. So be quiet and let me speak. As I was saying, you get me? I think there is a massive difference here. I think there is clear contact. I think Lamptey completely follows through with the tackle on Jesus, whereas Pope doesn't. If you actually watch the angle of the Pope incident, which I did watch it again, he moves his knee out the way. So as Pope wants the ball, he does this with his knee. He's trying his best to not make contact, whereas Lamptey is made contact, and it was a correct penalty to Arsenal. So I don't think it's two completely similar situations. I think the situations are a little bit different. I don't think they're similar at all, to be honest with you. And
do you agree? Wayne said here, Howard Webb said Pope didn't make contact with Gyökeres. So do you agree with Howard Webb that it was just a coming together, even though the leg was there because he tries to win the ball? You think that's a coming together?
I think Pope won the ball, and then Gyökeres tried to exaggerate the contact, which was at best minimal. There is no real contact there for Gyökeres to dive.
So I just want to make sure I'm getting you right, because I don't want you being misrepresented. You think that slight touch, even though he would have run onto the ball and had a shot on goal, you consider that winning the ball?
Yeah, no. Pope won the ball. Pope won the ball. He won the ball first.
So so I want to make sure I'm understanding. So you think Pope won the ball, therefore, if the contact doesn't happen, you don't think Gyökeres gets to that ball next?
That's not my point. My point is Pope on the ball, and even the contact with Gyökeres that he made is minimal. It's not worthy of giving a penalty.
What are you saying, Mo?
You're on mute.
You're on mute, brother.
You're on mute.
Yeah, I muted my mic because he yells and shouts because he's upset. Bro, I muted my mic because he's yelling and shouting at me. But he's my brother. He's my younger brother, and I'll accept it from him, of course. He means no harm. Harmless. It's fine. All I have to say is that I looked at it while you guys are talking. Nick Pope actually moves towards Gyökeres. Actually, Nick Pope's knee, because of the impact that it had on Gyökeres' knee, that's why it goes backwards, by the way. That's how strong the impact
Actually, you're wrong. See how
am I wrong? See the difference? No. How am I wrong? No.
If I interrupted you in any other scenario, you'd be so angry. But now you're doing it to prove a point.
Go ahead, continue. No, I'm not going to continue. I wanted to explain why I'm wrong.
I already said my opinion.
You said I'm wrong, so explain.
No, I've already explained.
Why don't you want to explain? So why interrupt me?
We'll come back to the debate in a minute. Mo, go on, continue.
Okay, to be honest with you, I just watched it. Nick Pope goes towards the knee of Gyökeres. Yes, he gets a touch on the ball. But based on Howard Webb interpretation over the last two incidents that he spoke about it, which is Saliba on João Pedro last season in the Brighton game and Gabriel Jesus on Tarek Lamptey, this is more of a penalty than the other ones. If he's talking about William Saliba and João Pedro, William Saliba and João Pedro is more of a coming together with heads. After, actually, Saliba's going to play the ball, and it's more of a coming together. That's an accidental head clash. After Saliba got the ball with his head. That is more of a coming together than impeding a footballer from going to the ball to slot it in the empty net. It's as simple as that. Forget even the Tarek Lamptey one, Terry. How did you interpret the Saliba one not a coming together where the guy is going for his head, touches the ball with his head, and then the coming together, and you're telling me that this is not coming together? My question to Terry, though, so for me, okay, let's not all debate this for 50,000 hours. Yeah. I think this is not a penalty, but based on Howard Webb interpretation, and they are the ones who set the law, same for the handball, which is different than UEFA. He is the one who explained to us last season that your touch on the ball has nothing to do with awarding the penalty, because once you impede the forward from getting to the ball or the opposition, it's a penalty. So he's the one who told us last season it's a penalty. Nick, I agree with you. So, now me and Nick agree with each other. You know what I mean?
So this is my whole point here. So for me, right, this is why I'm more angry. So you've got the Saliba example, and I get people saying feet being planted on the ground, but when it's your head, your feet's invariably always going to be on the ground, or both players are going to be off the ground. How do you
head cannot be on the ground? Let's just
but your feet can be, or you can both be jumping. It kind of is that way. It's the way when you listen to when you listen to the clip, and we've got it here, and I'll find it in a minute. When you look at these examples, the way they justify this penalty, the way they justified Lamptey's. Now I get Neeks' point And I'm open to a debate on this. And there's always a gray area and people will interpret things differently. But when you hear how categorical he was, he didn't say it's really close to not being a penalty. Had Lamptey's foot have touched the ground half a second earlier, then we would have said no penalty because it was planted. There's no detail. It was just 100% a pen. This one, it was a 100% right to overturn it. And Neek said something else in his previous comment as well. If it's that minuscule, is there really a clear and obvious error? There's also the footage that's come out, again, from the VAR. And the commentators in America were saying this. They didn't do it over here. And we've all heard the clip, where they're continually pushing the ref to change his mind. Well, what happened to one? I didn't think they were meant to push. They were meant to advise to go and review it. They're not meant to re-referee, according to Howard Webb. And by the way, these go against things like what I actually think they should re-referee. But Howard Webb said they won't re-referee. What happened to the referee's call and what happened to the clear and obvious element? They've dismissed 3 protocols to get to that decision. It goes against, in my view, 100% against. And then in other people's views, it might be 70% against, 50% against. But the idea that it was categorical, for me, just demonstrates the incompetence. It demonstrates, again, the fact they don't know what they're doing. And I stood up for Liverpool as a United fan. It was either last year or the year before when the lines weren't drawn and they broke protocol and they continued and they then couldn't go back because protocol was broken. And I stood up for Liverpool then. For me, on this case, they haven't just got the decision wrong. I feel they've broken the protocols. They've broken the rules that they've said are in place. Now, I don't know their motivation. I
wanted to ask you that question.
Go on.
Arsenal, now that is the main question. Forget, we all agree or disagree on the core. But Arsenal fans, and based on Howard Webb explanation last season and this season, Arsenal fans are telling me there's a conspiracy against them that the league doesn't want them to win the Premier League because it creates... hold on. Because they believe it creates narratives. It creates viewership for them. If Arsenal are getting calls against them, that's what I've been told. That's what I see on Twitter. That's what the big Arsenal accounts are saying, that it gets viewership, that it gets them views, it makes them money, right? Having these calls.
Guys, I just want to make something clear to everyone in the chat.
Not
look,
me, I'm telling you.
طب اسكت دقيقة بس تحكي شغلة مهمة ما لهاش دخل بالكرة. I'm extremely not sensitive. Terry will tell you this. I accept all sorts of jokes, but stuff like Saddam Husam is not acceptable. I don't think that's funny at all.
Yeah.
Xenophobic and racist. And I'll literally start banning people. Like, I'm a moderator, and Terry wouldn't mind me banning a racist.
That type of thing, 100%.
That type of thing, we're gonna have to cut it off because it's not funny at all.
Okay.
I did not conquer a country.
Okay, let me just.
I think the Joker has dived.
Okay, so very, very quickly, moderators, keep an eye on that, please. I haven't got the chat up. I've got the starred chats up. So if you see that, just time people out to begin with. If they do it again, ban them. Simple as that. That kind of thing is absolutely ridiculous. Call him other names,
and
but
also
not that.
Come up with better jokes. Come up with
I
jokes.
I never get mad if someone says this guy's a clown or a fraud or about. Like, I'm not sensitive at all, but you're not gonna stop here and come like do mixed xenophobic jokes and think I'm gonna be okay.
100% on that. So, but to your question, Mo. Can
we hear Husam's point on this?
Yes, on the whole.
Okay, I thought you were asking me. Yeah, we're gonna have to
look,
first.
The VAR on in the Newcastle game didn't give the Gabriel penalty, the Gabriel handball. So objectively speaking, if the league was trying to stop Arsenal from winning the league, they give that penalty.
This is for me. I don't necessarily think there's an agenda. I don't think there is an agenda. Let me be very clear. I don't think there is an agenda to stop Arsenal from winning the league. But I think multiple things can be at play here at once, though. I feel what this more is I think in the moment, somebody in VAR has got a bee in their bonnet and didn't want the penalty to be given. Probably just because they didn't think it was one. That's my feeling. What doesn't help is that a Liverpool fan has taken charge or been involved so far in, I think, 4 of the 6 Arsenal games. My view is that doesn't help these accusations. It just doesn't. At the end of the day, if a known Man United fan was refereeing Liverpool games when Liverpool and Man United were fighting for a title, Liverpool fans will call it out. I would probably call it out in the other direction as well. For me, it's when you've got all the other referees that don't support those clubs, it begs the question why. I mean, he's not allowed to referee Everton games, I believe, or be involved in Everton games because of that association. So therefore, how can he be impartial when the team he loves is in a title race? The best thing to do is remove him from that scenario, and then you don't have that problem. But
he can ref Fulham, Brentford. He can ref Crystal Palace.
No,
Leeds.
I understand that. So from my perspective, I look at it this way, that I look at it from the perspective that I don't think there's an out-and-out conspiracy. What we're seeing is incompetence and then cover-ups in real time. The issue that they've got, and this is where the mainstream media are the funniest people in the world. We all say things, we all give opinions, we all have a rant, and then a week later, a year later, 5 years later, someone could play that and it doesn't marry up with something we're saying today. And it's like, you're cooked, you've been exposed. Half the time it's quite funny. Some of the time you are being a hypocrite in some people's eyes, but actually you addressed it 2 years ago and you changed your mind, or your view opinion has changed and someone just clipped it out. But what these guys do is they lie. They will lie. And again, the wording they use and the way they describe the other penalties you've mentioned, and then to defend this one. And what I don't get is every now and then they let one or two through where they turn. I thought they were going to admit this one was a mistake, to be fair with you. I thought, and this is where they're stupid. This was the one to admit was a mistake because Arsenal won anyway. Everyone would have gone, cheers, thanks, and moved on from it. But they've made a real big mistake here. Now, some will say, Terry, maybe it isn't a mistake. Maybe they do believe it's the right decision. Well, this is where I think they're making a rod for their own back, because I guarantee we see penalties given for this very similar later on in the season. You're going to see them given, and then they're going to defend them. And they always end up biting themselves in the backside when they defend these scenarios. Now, I'm not sure because I haven't watched all the others yet, because I'm just not that interested in listening to anything about Man United right now. I'm trying to space out from it. But obviously, we should have had the red card. The PGMOL's official statement on Saturday was you can't give a red card because for Dogso, because the Man United player wasn't in control of the ball. Well, all the red cards that were given last year, Saliba as an example, halfway line, none of the players that were fouled had control of the fucking ball.
Yeah, they were running into the ball.
They were running onto the ball. So this is what I mean, but I call these things out. So my view is this. I don't think this is specifically against... I mean, you could argue that is against Arsenal because that went against them. It also went against Manchester United, though. They're just incompetent. And I said it the other day, and if the PGMOL are watching, call my bluff. I will give up everything I own in the YouTube space and world. Everything. If I can't make you more consistent with 18 months of running your organization. I will make it more consistent. I will make the decisions. And I said earlier, I don't actually care what your opinion is, my opinion is, Sam's opinion is about whether it is or isn't a penalty, because that's subjective. Again, now that we've seen this one not given, we could draw a line and go, right. So if there's a slight touch, and as long as the defending player or goalkeeper's foot is planted, it can never be a penalty. You set it as a precedent. We're all going to remember this. So why can't the refs? You just know in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, there's going to be a penalty given, almost identical, and then they'll find some weird little nuanced loophole to get away with it, and it infuriates us. It's the lack of consistency that I've got a real issue with here, as opposed to fighting for what I do think is and isn't a penalty, because that's just, you go around in circles forever. And I'm absolutely embarrassed that these people run at such an important part of the English game. They're absolutely horrendous on every level. And for everybody defending them, I'd love to know what your motivation is, because for me, all you're guaranteeing is that at some point very soon, another horrendous, inconsistent decision is going to at some point cost you and your team. Going to at some point damage you, because there is never unity amongst fans, because we just see it as an opportunity to slag each other's clubs off. And something about it just gets under my skin. So, and I wish it wasn't ever happening to Arsenal, because I think if it was other teams, you get a bit more leeway. And that's still what my only one message to Arsenal fans is: please drop you're trying to stop us winning the league. Because, as you say, that Gabriel handball would have been given if they were trying to not let you win the league. Focus on the inconsistencies, focus on the institution being bad at large. And I think we get more traction as a collective football base. But yeah, I hope that answers your question, mate.
Yeah. I just wanted to know what you guys' stance on this Arsenal conspiracy theory that is running on Twitter now since yesterday. It's just, they complain a lot, Arsenal fans, to be honest. And
Well, sometimes I think they're right to complain. Let's go to some of the comments that have come through here. This here says, Husam, do you still think a deflection is handball? You didn't think that was a handball. You didn't think that was a penalty, did you, Husam?
Gabriel,
which one?
On Gabriel, you didn't think that was a penalty, did you?
No, I do think that's a penalty.
So you wanted the referee to break the law of the game. How's that a penalty?
Because his arm is not in a natural position. No one slide tackles like this.
Can we do a challenge? Can we do a challenge?
He did that on purpose so he could enlarge his body.
Do you want to do a challenge? And I will let you into a little secret. I've already done it, so I know the outcome. Just after this show, if you've got time, or after your next show, go onto YouTube and put in the greatest slide tackles of all time. And there's loads of compilations of brilliant slide tackles. Just watch them all and look how often the arms are up, out to the side on brilliant slide tackles. They always do it. No one slides tackles with their arms by their side. Everybody slides tackles with their arms in different directions. And for me, this is one of the things on the rules. Gabriel's arms in a completely natural position. Just go and watch slide tackles. And there's loads of Van Dijk on there making brilliant tackles. And you look where his arms are. Some are up in the air, some are out to the side. It's one of the rules that has to be changed. It's ridiculous, in my personal opinion. But it does deflect off him back onto the player, then back onto the arm. And the rules clearly state that if that happens, it can't be a penalty.
That's fine if the rule states that. But my problem is not with the rule. My problem is, I think, and Neeks as well mentioned this, I think it actually goes like Elanga, Gabriel, Elanga, and then Gabriel's arm. So it touched Elanga before his arm, in my opinion. But my point is the following. Look, the way that he slide tackle like this, I don't think that's normal at all. He was trying to enlarge his body on purpose, and that's why I think it was a penalty.
Do you think Bruno Guimarães' handball is the same? It's handball?
No, because it's natural body position.
Okay, so you think someone blocking the ball like this is natural?
Yeah, he turned around like this and it hit his hand here.
No. His hand was out like this, exactly like this. His hand was out like this.
Yeah, it's natural body position.
All right. Moving on to the next super chat.
See, I just Googled sliding tackles, right? And you just put it in and go through the images. Some are after the contacts that they're sliding along the ground. But if you look at most of the sliding tackles, before they've made the impact, most people's arms are either out to the side like this or up above. And do you know why you do it? Do you know why it's a natural position? Because once you've made the tackle, what happens is, you know this when you play the game, is that your body slides along the floor and you need your arm out so you can slide. Because if your arm is by the side, it's going to hurt you. Your arm has to go out like that because you have to slide, and you can't slide with your arms by your side. It doesn't work. So your arms have to go out. It's crazy. I actually can't believe that's one of the rules I would change. They've got to move it on. I love.
To be honest with you, I'm going to say something. Husam is my brother, and I think Husam knows a lot of football and knows a lot of ball. That's why I was watching Husam even before I actually partnered with him on MHF. I think he is a little bit, I'm being serious. I think Wallah al-Azim, and I'm completely honest, I think you're a little bit rattled by Arsenal winning that game and you losing to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I think it's clouding your judgment. Wallah, and I told, by the way, I'm not saying this only in football, I told you that on our channel, MHF. Yeah. I told you you're a little bit, because me and you predicted maybe Liverpool a draw and Arsenal a draw or a loss, but because it completely shifted, I think it's clouding your judgment.
And I think as well, we're going to get onto Liverpool later, but I think because Liverpool's performances have dipped off, there is that. It isn't like we were great but lost the game. We'll be great the next match. I think there is this fear. Brandon here, big up Brandon, hope you're well. He says Pope didn't try to win the ball. Look at his body shape. He's trying to block the ball, and his body shape is what initiates contact before the penalty.
But that's the whole point, which is what Husam is talking about. I agree with Husam. Gabriel made his body bigger. It's very obvious.
He's talking about Nick Pope.
And Nick Pope got the ball. Yes, I agree with you. But I am with Neeks. If you're going to call the Joao Pedro on Saliba penalty, this is a penalty. And the Tariq, if you're going to call all of them not penalties, be consistent.
Yeah. I'm fine with them all not being penalties. But if you give,
and I'm fine with Gabriel's handball being a penalty if they tell us, it doesn't matter if it deflects off your player as long as you make your money.
Like in Europe. In Europe, you can see the penalty for it. I don't like the law, but you've got to
in
be
the Premier
consistent
League,
with
they
it.
told
Yes,
us deflection and proximity means not penalty. I agree.
Yes, agree. Patrick here says, big up Mo, Husam, and Terry. Always love the debate and conversation.
Big up
even the
Patty,
arguments.
man.
Yeah, Patty's great, man. And I'll
Always
see
showing
you-
us love, Patrick.
He always is. And I'll see you 7 p.m. on the United Stand tonight. I'm live, so I'll see you over there as well, brother. Waldo here says, so therefore, by that logic, Pope should have been sent off as well for denying a goal scoring opportunity. I got that wrong on Sunday.
That is actually wrong.
Because it's in the box and it was an attempt to try and win the ball. It's only a yellow card because
Double
of
jeopardy here. Yes. So
the only
Waldo, you
time
need to know
double
that.
jeopardy. So double jeopardy. If you're trying to win the ball and you foul someone in the box when it's dog-so, it's only a yellow card. It's only if you. That's why United should have had a red card against Brentford, because pulling someone's shirt isn't trying to win the ball. So no, it shouldn't have been. Adam here says, I thought the Coote situation would wake up fans and make them realize it's not incompetence. There's no conspiracy against anyone specifically, but it's an entertainment product. Controversy sells. What I will say is I don't think the PGMOL have a meeting game and got to stop Arsenal. What is plausible is that some refs have an agenda against Arsenal. Why? Because we've heard Graham Poll, we've heard David Coote, and we've heard multiple ex-referees on podcasts like The Overlap, and we played this clip last year. I've got it somewhere, where they said, do you remember Graham Poll telling us that he used to, if a fan base in the crowd had given him shit, he'd hold it against them for the next game. So we know this exists. That element, I think, is a cast iron accusation. Do I think it's widespread where they have meetings to go, right, we've got to stop this team? No. But is it plausible? We know David Coote didn't like Liverpool. We know it. So
Martin Clattenburg said that he hated Klopp since he was at Dortmund. So I'm sure he pinned that grudge on the fridge.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Elisa here with an amazing donation and super chat. Thank you very, very much indeed.
Big up, Elisa.
Says the issue for Arsenal fans is the contradiction with other decisions that have been against us. The Edison, Odegaard, very good point. Saliba, Pedro, Jesus, Lamptey, Manuel Neuer, Saka, all contradict each other. Yeah, the Edison Odegaard one, again, it was a very slight touch. I remember that one. I forgot about it. You mentioned it. Very slight touch on the ball. Then Odegaard gets taken out. If he hadn't got taken out, he'd have got to the ball and they would have probably scored, if I remember correctly. But everyone said, no, not a pen, because there was a touch. But he wasn't planted on the ground in the same way this one was. And I think you're absolutely right to call this out. You're absolutely right to call it out, because we need more consistency. And what should be happening in the week when these referees aren't refereeing is they should be in a meeting room. And this is what I would do. I'd get them all in and go, right, guys, we've given all these have all been penalties in the last 2 to 3 years. This weekend, we gave 3 penalties for the same thing. Well done, you. Well done, you. Why wasn't this one given? That's absolutely horrendous. This is the consistency we want to create for the fans. These are always penalties. And you keep drumming it into them. Weekly meetings, you show them old footage, replay what Howard Webb has said publicly, or what I would say, because I'll be running it by then. This is what we give penalties for. We don't for this. If you keep drumming that into them, you can take subjectivity can become more objective over time, the more data you use, and then we'll get closer to consistency. We won't always all agree with the decisions, because we don't all agree with the law. None of us agree with the handball law in Europe. None of us agree with it. We think it's stupid, but we understand that they're consistent with it, and that's what we've got hope for. Elisa, that's an amazing donation, so thank you so much for that, and everyone that super chats. But like £50 is a hell of a lot in one go, so thank you so much for doing that. Are referees completely incompetent? Yes. Is there a refereeing agenda against Arsenal? Gabriel hit Voldemar in the face, yet no red card, whereas Jackson got a red card against Newcastle for competing.
Zane is correct as well, because we remember that the McAllister and Doku one is clear as day that was not only a penalty, that's a horrendous tackle that deserves a red card by itself. That on a halfway line is a red card by itself, by the way. Studs to chest is a red card by itself, but they didn't even give it as a foul, which is astonishing to me. And you know what? It is what it is. You know, Man City fans are going to hate me for the... Anyway, I want to see people saying that there is a big decision against Pep.
No, listen, and I get where Zane's coming from. What I would say is I do feel the Jackson and Gabriel situation were different, personally. But there's been quite a few things with... You've seen Gabriel G against Jorginho a few years ago. We all see that as a smash. there's Van Dijk when he run past Anthony Gordon, hit him with the shoulder. I feel like when something's a punch or a little slap or it's a clear elbow, you get it. These ones that are sort of shoulders, kind of forearm smashes as you're running past someone, they tend not to give them. Again, I think they should all be red cards, but you've got to be consistent in that decision making. And I feel like invariably they are, in my view. Can we all agree PGMOL sucks and the sooner or later your team will be a victim of a bad decision? Absolutely.
Yeah, of course we can agree with that. I said this 3 years ago when
absolutely
Doku was switching music to McAllister.
Mookie here says, hi Terry, big up to Husam and Mo. Thank you very, very much indeed, my friend. Big up, big up.
Yeah, big up Mookie.
If you take 5 minutes, it's not clear and obvious. And the only time you should be taking that amount of time is over things like offsides.
Such a good
which offsides, which offsides, by the way.
If it takes 5 minutes, it's not clear and obvious. This is true, look.
Yeah. And I want to be very clear. Offsides do not come under the clear and obvious protocol because they're seen as a matter of fact. It's only the subjective decisions that are meant to be clear and obvious. And as you say, 5 minutes of debating or 5 minutes of telling the referee what he's not noticing, it's crazy. It's gotten worse since Howard Webb took charge. Oh, without a doubt. It actually was better when they re-refereed the games. I felt they made the decisions better. It has got so much worse since he got involved. It's been awful. Gerardov here says, yes, refereeing is inconsistent, but there is no difference to any other league, elite or grassroots in the world. We have the most money out of all the leagues in the world. We should spend it and invest it and hold them to account and make it better. We should be so much better than we are. Penalty decisions during Arsenal and Newcastle were correct, but the past decisions were wrong and excuses were made to justify them. That could also be it. It could be these ones were correct and those ones were mistakes. But the problem is what I'm calling out is their words and their lies. And then they haven't upheld what they've said. Absolutely. Probably.
I know the English are proud people and everything. I know that, to be honest. But don't you think that the Premier League has so much money involved, billions, not millions here, that maybe England should start looking at like hiring someone from outside the country to actually?
Yeah.
Like there's so much money involved, and like Husam was saying, that Doku situation probably changed the trajectory of a league and hundreds of millions.
By the way, Liverpool were top at the time. Liverpool beat City. I think we went like 6 points clear or something.
I know I'm not English, Terry. You're English. I know you're proud people and you guys like this and you like your own country and all the stuff. But to be honest with you, there's too much fucking money involved, broski, here.
Bro, look,
need like this. It's too much money.
I can't speak for other English people, but I'll speak from my perspective as an Englishman. I only drive German cars. I'm sitting here drinking a cup of Indian tea. Okay. I have no issue with foreign imports coming into my country. I never have done. That's just my personal perspective. I've said this for about 2 years now. What the Premier League should do, but I think you've got to work in conjunction with UEFA and FIFA, is every 2 years, referees get cycled around the world. So you get the Italian refs and they'll come and they'll ref. You don't need to do them all at once. You'll get like an Italian, a Frenchman, an Englishman, someone from Portugal, someone from Turkey, and they're your referees for 2 years. And then in 2 years' time, everyone gets jumbled up again, and then they recycle them. So you don't end up in the same place twice. That would, one, give you very good. I think you would get great. You could often get, and the bigger the leagues, the better the refs you get. So you get the best one from Turkey, the best one from Spain. Get similar. What it also does, it stops there being a build-up. Let's just say a referee has a really bad time at Old Trafford, gives a bad decision, the fans turn, the manager screams at him, so he builds up a bit of animosity, like the David Coote situation with Klopp, and it builds up and builds up. If someone's moved on every 18 months, 2 years, that animosity isn't always there. So there are very simple solutions to this, but the problem that you'll find is that there'll be money being made somewhere by people, and it's nearly always a thing that progression often gets stopped by money being made. Someone somewhere is making a lot of money over keeping this all in-house and keeping it in. And it's like some of the technologies that we've rejected. It's because the technology we're using, you look at who owns that technology, and it's someone who's connected to the top dogs and top prices at the FA, and it's all about making cash. But you are right. Brandon here says, stop listening to Top Gooners. There is no agenda against Prem referees are just crap. They knew they messed up with Gyökeres penalty. That's why they didn't give Gabriel's. It's a good shout.
Maybe.
I got timed out for calling out hand of Salah. You got timed out here for that. I didn't do it. If one of my mods did, then there we go. I loved the tier. We'll come back to anything that's related to Liverpool. We'll come back to it a little bit later. Our opinions do not matter. Focus on precedent. I do agree with you. I think there's an element of that now. Stop debating whether we think it's a foul or not, and the precedents that have been set before. I think are absolutely spot on. Mark Clattenburg has been critical of Howard Webb. The only referees that are now critical of the PGMOL are all the ones that are outside that sphere. They're the ones that are earning money and doing things outside that sphere. Everyone who's connected to it still defends it. And it's quite refreshing to hear, if I'm being honest, because they're no longer under the boot. And you can hear honesty coming from them. But viewers, look, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions on this in the comment section below, especially if you're watching the playback. This is from Evan. It says, big up Terry, Mo and Husam. I think the problem people have is the lack of consistency within football. For example, last night, the Liverpool game, in the Liverpool game, I ain't sure it was a penalty to Galatasaray.
You can come up to this. I think it's a penalty. It's 100% a penalty. There's no doubt about it. It's unfortunate. It's unintentional, but sometimes, and I know that Szoboszlai did this unintentionally. He was just trying to turn, but his elbow hit the guy first, and then his hand hit that guy. Like it's an unfortunate penalty, but the referee is forced to give it. It's not a fault of Szoboszlai at all, but the referee has to give it.
I think
because the guy sold it as well. Like the guy sold it as well. Like he got hit and then he fell down and held his face, and like sometimes it is what it is, you know.
Salah playing volleyball for Liverpool's first goal and didn't get disallowed. Gyökeres's penalty did. Pen not given. Gabriel's handball not given is all fair.
First of all, that's not true about Salah. Salah did not play volleyball. He was dragged down by Richards. And if it wasn't a goal, it was a penalty to Liverpool. And he didn't touch
was his arm in a natural position for you?
No, it wasn't in a natural position because he was getting dragged down.
I'm just joking. Remember Van Dijk kicking Havertz, same thing. Yeah, again, it was a clear kick for me, but they don't give.
Remember when Havertz should have been sent off in the 3-1 game you won, where he scored the third goal?
What did he do to get sent off? Remind me.
Remember when Odegaard was playing basketball in our penalty box at
Anfield? I remember that incident. What did Kai Havertz do to get sent off? I'm asking. Kai
Havertz could have had like 3 yellow cards when he pushed
yellow cards, right.
Offside referee as well. Yeah.
Okay. Howard Webb can do a hit and run, appear in court, and then explain it to the judge. It was more my car and the human being coming together, so no penalty. Yeah, I hear you. What if refs leave for 2 years and the animosity grows more? Well, it might do, but these are also where you do tests on people and have conversations and assess them, and these things can be done. And you can look at that. You look at their decision making and their consistency. You weigh it up with conversations, and there's ways of working it out. But if they're removed from the situation, this is why when people are angry on a Saturday when they lose a game, and I see them rant on a fan cam, but then I speak to them on the Thursday and they've still got the same level of energy and anger, I often think it's performative because you naturally calm down. So if you've got a problem with Jurgen Klopp, but you're out the country for 2 years, you have no interaction with him, the likelihood of that anger still being the same 2 years later, or it won't even be 2 years later, you might not come back to the Prem for 10 years because now you're in Spain, then you're going to go to Italy, then you're going to go to Germany. So it would
also the media plays big part. When the media started labeling Salah as a diver, it was very hard for him to get penalties, even when he got kicked and hit. When the media labeled Xhaka as violent player, people started giving him red cards. But they don't talk about Bernardo Silva, for example, kicking players as well. You know what I mean? So they take it easy on him. It's Bruno Fernandes. They have an agenda against Bruno. Like, Bruno says, Bruno's that. So it's hard.
Moans. Yeah. No,
it's an agenda. And then the referees, the referees go into games with premeditated opinions on players. So I'm not giving penalty for Salah. Even if he's fucking kicked, I'm not giving a penalty.
I hear you. Rob here, one of our moderators and members, says this is the least balance I've heard Husam be for about 6 months. Literally every decision against Arsenal is correct and everyone for Liverpool is correct.
I never said that.
The difference between Europe and the PGMOL is that even if the decision is harsh, UEFA are consistent. Fans complain less when there's consistency across the board. Everyone knows what warrants a penalty in the Champions League.
This is true, including handballs as well. We know that handballs are given automatically in the Champions League. So that's something that we're aware of at least. So we know the ruling behind it, if you would like.
Having foreign refs would mean being diverse. Diversity is now a dirty word. It's only a dirty word if your brain doesn't work right. Like if your brain in both extreme directions, it's only if your brain's not well that you think it's a dirty word. So I agree with you, but most people are quite sane and wouldn't have a problem with it, my friend. Do you know what I mean? But I hear you. Listen, people, hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Let's get the likes up on this stream now. Let's get to 1,000 if that is possible, please. Blown away by the amount of super chats on the show. The support that you give the channel, that you give this show is absolutely amazing. So a big thank you to each and every single one of you. I want to talk about, we're going to move on to a bit more about Liverpool now, and we're going to come back to Arsenal later in terms of the title favourite element. But I want to play a clip from last night. Let's take a listen to Jamie Carragher.
I don't feel like I'm watching a top team. Liverpool aren't playing football at the moment, they're playing basketball. And it's just end to end, and I don't think top teams play like that. And as I said, I expressed that to the manager early on. He'll know that a lot better than me. He's obviously a fantastic manager. But right now, Liverpool went from I would call them a top team, but a workman-like team, I would say, last season. And they've sprinkled a little bit of stardust on it in terms of the transfers that he brought in. And they haven't gained anything going forward, but they've lost a lot defensively. So I think for the manager now, last season was such a smooth ride for him. He's now got to really earn his money. You know, he did last season, won the Premier League, unbelievable. But there's a few problems there that he's got to fix. And it'll be really interesting how he goes about it, because he's spent a lot of money on certain players. But right now, I don't think the balance of the team is right. And the obvious one that stands out right now is Florian Wirtz. He's just not at the races at all. He's a young boy coming into a new league. He's got plenty of time to go as a Liverpool player. But right now, I think he needs to come out of the team. Liverpool get back to what they were last season, and then go from there and try and build some confidence and build some defensive solidity, because right now it just looks a mess.
I don't like hearing you like this, Jamie.
No?
They've only lost 2 games, I mean...
No, but it's not the losses. It's not the defeats. It's the performances. And this has been coming from day one. Liverpool got battered by Newcastle in the second half of that game. Newcastle had 10 men. Things like that can't happen. You know, Crystal Palace at the weekend created 7 big chances. That's more big chances any team has conceded in the Premier League all season. And Liverpool are the champions. You know, so there's this has been coming. This is not a shock. What's, you know, for me in the last couple of games, and the manager needs to fix it.
Obviously, very, very strong words, slamming the tactical change, talking about Wirtz being taken out of the team. I agree very much with what he said about performance. It should always be the main focus. I just, results-based analysis in isolation might work for a big cup final or a big semi-final or a really important title-deciding game. I'll come to you first on this, Sam, please.
Yes. What's the is that a question or just
like in terms of, do you agree with him? Do you think he's being a bit?
I agree completely with Carragher. I agree completely with Carragher. Unfortunately, I don't like agreeing with him, but I agree with him. I think the performances maybe haven't been as convincing. You get me? That's just the truth. I look at I look at the way that we played against Galatasaray, and it was pathetic, to be honest with you. Like, I went through the team yesterday on a match reaction. Davinson Sanchez, Spurs reject, who was shit 5 years ago. Lucas Torreira, who Troops was telling the world is better than Kante like 10 years ago. You know, just a bunch of washed up rejects. Lemina from Wolverhampton Wanderers. Some random guy called Jacobs I've never heard of before in my life. A random guy called Singo. Just a bunch of NPCs beat us yesterday. That's just the truth. So, you know, we just... we deserved to lose yesterday's game, in my opinion. I do think it was a penalty, so I'm not really crying about that because I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm interested in performance.
But did you think the Konate one is a penalty, or did you? Because I watched your watch along. Was it a penalty?
No, it wasn't.
Wallah al-Azim. Okay, good. So someone sent me a short clip of you saying, no, not SE. No. Someone told me to go check your watch along yesterday, so I went and checked. Didn't send me a clip. I thought you said it's a penalty. and then after
No,
the review, it
Subsly.
wasn't a penalty. Okay, good. Okay, I
The
just want-
angle was go to the comment section because people are, bro. I love this. People are trying to one up me so bad. Just
I
just
know,
go
I know.
after the 30 seconds. Just go to the comment section when I watch along. Go 30 seconds when they show the replay. I said he won the ball. It's not a penalty.
Okay, great. Because I only watched that. But someone could
Yeah,
say,
it's
"Oh,
not a
Mo,
penalty.
check Husam is yesterday," and I went and checked it. Okay, go ahead. So it's not a because I know it's not a penalty because
Yes, it's not a penalty. So yeah, I think it's a penalty on Subsly was a penalty. I think it's a correct decision by the referee. Subsly just slapped him, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's my thing. So we deserve to lose, completely deserve to lose. Galatasaray were actually closer to scoring the second goal than we were to scoring the first goal. People blamed Salah for the last like 2-3 performances. One guy as well who messages me every day, he got dropped. Performance doesn't look any better. Like we don't even look any better with him on the bench, with him starting. It doesn't matter. So it's a systematic issue, it's a structural issue. We have all this talent on the pitch and we look worse than we did last year. So that's something that Slot needs to fix. I think our creativity is an issue, which is something as well we need to fix. Someone needs to get dropped in the midfield.
your defense is an issue as well. You
Yeah,
said that yesterday on your match
well.
reaction.
Everything is an issue right now. So there's a lot for us to change. There's a lot for us to kind of.
And that's the problem. Like the results were masking what was going on at Liverpool. And me and Husam were talking about this. And I want to talk to the Liverpool fans. When I said that the clutchness of Liverpool will actually get them out of trouble too much, now the clutchness is not there. Now if the clutch players are not clutching, you're gonna lose games.
Rob, you're such a sensitive little girl, honestly. You're so sensitive, Rob. I just said Konate wasn't a penalty, and I said that the Galatasaray one was a penalty. But I thought I said all the decisions that are for Liverpool are wrong. Bro, stop it. Stop it. This guy, like, you guys have made your personas on the chat just bitching about referees. Both decisions were correct. Literally. Galatasaray deserved a penalty, and our one wasn't a penalty. And that's it. This Rob guy just spent the last 30 minutes just crying about referees. Fucking hell, bro. We played like shit. Forget refereeing decisions. We performed like ass. So we don't deserve to win. We don't even deserve a draw. We literally do not even deserve a draw in that game. So not everything is about referee. Sometimes you have to look at the performance. And we played like shit. And it's on Slot to fix it. He has to fix this. You can't spend all this money and look worse. You just can't spend all this money and look worse. You can't have all this talent out there look worse. I said something yesterday and I stick by it. We're not even creating the chances for Isak that Nunes missed. It's not like Mo and Terry start off the show. We're going like, oh, Isak missed 3 1-on-1s. Like there was literally no creativity for him. The guy has to drift all the way to the left to create like something for himself. So that's the thing for me. So yeah, at the end of the day, there were both refereeing decisions were correct. Konate wasn't a penalty. Szoboszlai one was a penalty. Let's not moan about referees. I support Liverpool Football Club. I don't support
So I'm gonna call you out here. When you said if we sign Isak, I'm kicking up, my feet is up. I'm not scared of other teams. I'm only counting maybe City because they have Pep Guardiola. Has that changed for you and the other Liverpool fans? I know you speak for yourself.
No, it hasn't changed for me. Because it's because this has nothing to do with Arsenal. We're playing against us.
Not only Arsenal and City as well.
It's Liverpool against Liverpool right now. We are creating our own downfall.
So you thought you're going to play better than this, right?
Arne Slot starts a game against a team with wing backs with a box midfield. What does that have to do with Arsenal?
Yeah, but you guys relied so much on Arne Slot ball, and he's gonna actually be better than last season. And last
that's
season,
what everyone expected. You said it on your reaction yourself.
Yeah.
You said you expected Liverpool to be better. I watched 100%. Your reaction to my video. You said Husam is right. There's no way you buy Wirtz, Isak, blah, blah, and look worse.
On paper, it's impossible.
It's impossible. So that's why Slot has to fix it. And you probably had people in your comment section, Mo, and in your comment section, Terry, going like, oh man, Mo looks like shit. It's time to drop him. Okay, he got dropped. Do we look any better?
No, but here is the question that I asked. Now comes the tough questions.
What?
I actually asked last season, I said Mohamed Salah carried Liverpool to a title because he had a historic season and he carried that attack. And Arne Slot, yes, looked good, but because there was no title race, and Arne Slot played good football, to be honest. It's not astonishing. For the majority of the game, you played good football. Mohamed Salah carried that attack because the rest were underwhelming. I said Gakpo, Diaz, they were okay. They weren't like tight, amazing. But Mohamed Salah had him. And I said, if Mohamed Salah doesn't carry the team this season, I'm looking at Isak to carry the team or Vert. That's why you buy them. That's why Yusuf. But now Arne Slot himself, which is I questioned the people that already made Arne Slot because he won the league last season better than this coach, better than that coach. Now we're seeing Arne Slot with tools. You said it. He has Wagyu beef and he cannot make a meal. He has all the ingredients, but he cannot make a meal out of it currently. While others are playing good football. Like, Olise is not there for Glasner. Eze is not there for Glasner, and he's playing better football than last season. The likes of Bournemouth, Iraola, the likes of the Brentford guy. My point about this is that are we sitting here after 6 games or 8 games or 9 games, including the Community Shield, we haven't seen Arne Slot ball actually in full contention. I have Jerry James yesterday on my show said that if you swear to me and you tell me swear what is slot ball, I'll tell you I don't know. I have no idea what kind of brand of football we play. Is it quick? Is it direct?
Yeah, there is no specific brand right now. That's the problem.
Like, it's not only brand. It's like, is it pressing? Is it like Liverpool don't press as hard, but they play a high line. So the high line is exposed. One ball behind and you're exposed. And AB football, I was listening to Nadim Onowa yesterday on the Guardian podcast, and he said, the first thing we learn as defenders, and I told my guys yesterday because I was playing football, and I quoted him, and they said, AB defending is like, don't play a high line if your midfield is not pressing the guy that's going to play the long ball. But Liverpool do it every game now. They did it against Bournemouth, they did it against Newcastle, they did it against Crystal Palace, they did it against Galatasaray. It's one ball behind the defense, behind the high line, and Liverpool are exposed and everyone is recovering because there's no pressure.
I want to put this question up. I want to put this question up here. This is from HONEYMOON that says, Terry, and I'm opening up to you guys. Did Slot ride on the Klopp wave? Now that he has his own team, will it show the cracks of his experience and bring pressure?
Slot rode on the Klopp wave when Klopp's last league title was in 2020. Make it make sense. Like, I just some comments sometimes is just so weird. Obviously, Slot coached a way better system and a style last season. Liverpool last season, I think, in the first 3 games had 3 clean sheets in a row. I think we had the strongest defense up until like game week 11, game week 12. Like, we were defensively very solid. We weren't conceding chances like this every game. So your logic is flawed. It has nothing to do with riding the Klopp wave. He was not playing Klopp ball. He ain't playing Klopp ball now either. He ain't playing Slot ball. He's playing no ball. We're playing something that just what Mo's saying tactically as well, from a tactical perspective, the whole box midfield, the whole playing verts on the left. I think Arne Slot needs to put the whole, like, you know, trying to replicate PSG thing in the bag. You know, you can't replicate PSG with Cody Gakpo. You just can't. Cody Gakpo be a ball boy at PSG. You can't replicate the PSG ball with the Szoboszlai midfield. You can't. You can't even do it to the Gravenberch.
Yeah.
You need way better technical ability and midfielders to replicate it. So I think we need to create our own system and our own style, because there is no way I've got Salah, Isak, Wirtz on the pitch at the same time and I can't create a clear-cut chance.
It boils down to exactly what there was these questions asked in the summer, Highbury end, and it was, will Liverpool adapt to all these new signings? And I think what Husam said at the time, and it made sense, and it's not worked out to be correct, but it wasn't bad logic. And I think there's a difference between being wrong when saying something stupid versus your logic being right, but it not happening. I think there's a distinction. And sometimes it takes time to integrate players. And I'm not, and you guys have heard me say this before, me and Lee Gunnar have some massive debates around this. I'm not a massive fan of bringing in typically more than 4 or 5 players into a team or a squad, especially when it's a very good team, because it often can create disharmony. I didn't think it would be like this. That being said, I do think there is a slight overreaction here. I got what Carragher means by performances are more important than results when you look at a body of work. I agree. That being said, I don't feel in the opening game of the season against Bournemouth, I don't feel in the Everton game, I don't feel in the Arsenal game. Newcastle, yes, you could put this to, and Crystal Palace you could put it to in the first half, by the way, not 90 minutes. You weren't like you were last night. Against Palace in the second half, I know you could have been 4-0 down against Palace in the first half, but you had loads of opportunities to score in the second and didn't take them. There is this element of throwing baby out with the bathwater. I think subtle changes are needed. not mass changes. I do look at Wirtz as an example. I don't think he's been god awful. I think again that's an exaggeration.
Once again, he wasn't the problem yesterday. Like I said,
but I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's about him being the problem. I think him being in the team, it's the knock-on effect. The problem that you have is everybody wants to stick it to players. The same as everybody wants to do Slot didn't really win with his own team, and Arsenal fans will jump on that because they've been told for years that Arteta's FA Cup's not his. And this is the problem with that mind when that bit of banter becomes perpetuated by media outlets. Influential.
Thank God I never made that claim.
No, I know you didn't, but you get my point. When all these people start taking banter and using it for real conversations,
I agree with you. But Arteta's FA Cup is his FA Cup. Slot's Premier League is his Premier League. We can't attribute.
I agree.
I know you agree with already.
We agree. But my point is, those questions now come up. The reason why Wirtz is going to be scapegoated and rivals are going to push for it is because that is what's happened to all of our clubs. Very, very expensive players. So I don't think it's, and I'm not saying it's right. It's just why I have my series, Killing the Game. We are killing it. We're killing how we view football because what used to be considered banter is now being used by some of the biggest pundits and the biggest outlets in the world as serious analysis because it rages people and it gets clicks. And we have to push back against it because it's over the top. Wirtz isn't the problem, but it's part of the issue, which is because of the way he plays and the way the midfield is narrowing out, but your fullbacks are still pushing up, there's all that space in behind. So where I agree with Carragher is I think Wirtz should be taken out of the team, but not because he's a bad player. It's just get back to performing well, start winning more games, and make that integration slower. There's a reason Jurgen Klopp would get new players. Some would go straight into the first team, like Alisson, like Van Dijk. But I remember Fabinho, it was like 3 months until he started playing regularly, as an example. And I think Slot's just got to work on getting that balance right here. The other side of it as well, I think because it's Liverpool, people want to go on them and they want to go over the top. I also feel that you guys are going to be okay. I'm seeing people talk about Arsenal. Listen, Arsenal might be the favourites in people's minds now, fair. But the idea that Liverpool are going to drop off, that they're not going to improve, some might predict it. But what they're doing is they're pissing in the wind and they're hoping none of it hits them in the face. I don't think anybody truly believes that. I don't think anybody truly believes that what we're seeing from Liverpool is what we're going to get all season from them. They will get
no,
better.
of course it can't be because Slot is way too good. Slot, listen, at the end of the day, any manager that wins the Premier League can't just be undermined. So obviously he's a very good manager, very good coach. Winning the Premier League now is very difficult. It's not easy. Bournemouth, Brighton, even the mid-table sides are difficult to beat. Arsenal might find it difficult to beat West Ham at home with the new manager bounce. You just never know what happens in the Premier League nowadays. So my point is, like, I'm just waiting a little bit to see what happens with Arne Slot and the way that he fixes the style. I think we need to go back to basically the 4-3-3 or the 4-2-3-1 that we played. Wirtz occupying that 10 role, not playing left wing. I think we need to put the left wing thing completely in the bag. Like, we never do that ever again. So I think he should be playing in the number 10 position. I think one of the pivot players needs to be dropped, whether it be Szoboszlai, whether it be McAllister. I don't care who it is. So I think for me, personally, if it were up to me in the Chelsea game, because Chelsea have a good midfield, I would drop Szoboszlai. So I'd have Gravenberch and McAllister as the pivot players, Kerkez, Frimpong for width, Van Dijk, Konate, Mamardashvili, and then I would start Isak with Wirtz. And by the way, guys, the Champions League game against Atletico, the first Champions League game, you both even said yourselves that the connections between Wirtz and Isak are clearly there. Like, in that game, like, they had a lot of connections. 1-2 is the way that they played with each other. So I think there is a possibility for that to happen. Like, even in the first half, Wirtz played Frimpong in behind. He played, I think it was someone else in behind as well. I think Ekitike, I think he played them in behind as well. Had that been Isak, is a more natural striker who would be pouncing on those chances. So I'm just waiting. I just want Slot to figure it out. Because it's so obvious, and this is something that Terry has said, so he knows this. You can't, when you watch Ten Hag's Man United, you can't sit there and go like, this would all go away if we dropped Bruno. This would all go away if we dropped Højlund. It doesn't work. Because guess what? Hear me out.
Exactly right.
Yesterday against Galatasaray, we dropped the player that a lot of Liverpool fans have been saying he's the problem and he can't work with Vert. Okay, we dropped Salah. Do we look any better? The answer to the question is no, we don't look better. So now I know for a fact the issue is systematic, not personnel.
So just very quickly before I go to Mo, I think you're right. I'm very annoyed that the silver pill analysis just always frustrates me, and then people end up like reducing it down to, but at least we'll play a little better. Yeah, like maybe not. You need a bit more body of work. But also the way I sort of view this is, even if it takes you another month, 2 months for this to click, and you become a much better team, but Arsenal pick you to this league title, there is no need to throw baby out with the bathwater. You've got next year. There's the year after that. We have to live in the real world that even though Liverpool spent big and they've gone to improve their squad, there's just a chance this year, a chance that Arsenal's recruitment and Arsenal's season is better. This is so normal through the history of football. I just feel weird. Like I saw Spurs fans last night. Some of them really going in on Thomas Frank. Some of them half changing their minds. I didn't think we'd ever play like this again. I can't believe that we were outclassed. And I'm sitting there watching it and I'm thinking it's a different scenario, but the principle's the same. It's a case of you've started the season brilliantly. You're sitting in fourth. You're still not losing many games. You found a way back into it. But you're overestimating the squad again because of 2 or 3 good games. You were never the 17th worst squad in the league. But you're not the top 4 squads in the league, and you're currently sitting in fourth. And these things happen. Although you bought well, there's a great super chat that brings this to life that came through. That
can I just keep Tampa Lion's comment on here? No, just please give me a second. Tampa Lion, you're a member of the Terrace. You support my channel, most channel, the Terrace as well. I appreciate it. I'm not jumping on the team. I'm simply saying, look, we had a good kitchen last season. The kitchen overachieved, and it won best kitchen in the city. Now, the kitchen has all the top ingredients. It has all the best things. You open it up and the steak is no longer $5 steak. It's now Wagyu beef. You open up the sauces. It's all elite sauces. It's all like, made by Gordon Ramsay. So you have to be able to cook these things. I'm simply saying, look, something needs to give. I'll say this right now, just to prove that my point is not results. And I said this yesterday. I'll reiterate it now. If we lost to Chelsea 1-0 this Saturday, but Liverpool hit the post 4 times and we're dominant and we have 75% possession, but we miss chances, I'll live with it. What I won't live is a shit performance where we're once again relying on an individual or a moment suddenly.
Yeah, let me just finish my point, then I'll come to you. Sorry, because what I wanted to say before I change it is, like, Gravenberch didn't get into the Liverpool team for a year. Now he's integral. Players, even expensive players, good players, need time to adapt. And sometimes I know everybody wants instant results. We live in the world of instant gratification, even when league titles have just been won. And yes, Slot should be criticised, but I do see some Liverpool fans going too far already. You can see it's the wording and the language they're using is only one step down from out calls, and there'll be some that do that. Some idiots are already doing it. There'll be some that will do it sooner rather than later. Sometimes you buy some really good players and they take a year to settle. Sometimes you buy some really good players and they settle straight away. And I just think the criticism is fair by and large, but some reactions have been slightly over the top. Mo, over to you.
To be honest with you guys are being objective. I like it. It's nice. But to be honest with you guys, all of this is a load of crap. And the reason why? For a couple of reasons. I'm going to say 2. People are objective only when it suits their narrative. What I mean by this, Gyökeres was criticized in his first game. The guy who came from Portugal wasn't the best player in the Bundesliga, was one of the best playmakers. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the media.
Okay. Right. Okay.
He wasn't the best players in Germany. He wasn't the shining bright star that cost more than 100, that Liverpool broke the British record before breaking it again to sign him, right? I hold the same for my team. For people to say, Mo, you have an agenda. No. Sam knows this, and you, Terry, knows this. When the Inter fan base say that Lautaro's one of the best strikers in the world, I'm like, show me. Even if the system is not working, show me on the pitch. Liverpool have bought too many stars and have broken the British record twice for me to, even if the system is not working, I'm expecting off my seat moments. I'm expecting Wirtz and Isak to drag Liverpool, even if the system is not working, right? People talk objective. Husam is very objective about his analysis to Liverpool, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong, right? He's analyzing the team. He's analyzing how to get better. However, What I don't like now is the Chelsea fans and the Man City fans. Now they're like, nah, Liverpool, they will be good. They will come good. Liverpool fans didn't have the same energy for your players, for Enzo, Caicedo, Grealish. Why are you riding them? Why are you?
But their teams weren't good though.
Habibi, your team is even
Liverpool,
better,
even as bad as we were, we are still actually top of the league.
Yes, but what makes it worse?
Chelsea weren't top of the league when the first time Caicedo was poached.
What makes it worse for me is that Wirtz is coming to a team that is a champion already. Have Van Dijk, Alisson, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Salah, Gakpo. Sometimes Robertson played. Sometimes Conor Bradley played. And to be honest, Wirtz is not criticized enough in the media, in my opinion. Some Rivals fans criticize him, some don't. For example, Isak, when you spend that money, I am not so harsh on Isak because I know he didn't have a preseason.
And he's only played 10 minutes like yesterday.
I know
so
that.
What you gonna say,
however, I am expecting Isak. By the way, Eucharist didn't train with Sporting Lisbon and people criticize him from first
he
game.
had a preseason. Stop it.
He had a preseason.
Completely
He literally
different.
joined Arsenal.
He literally played in East Asia.
And also, you cannot compare Eucharist to Isak. Isak is supposedly one of the best strikers in the world. And you know, I like
one of the
Ekitike
best
more than
strikers in the
Eucharist.
world who isn't fit because he had no preseason. What's difficult to understand? Explain it to me.
How is that? Like 45 minutes? Why is he not
The
playing?
Sweden coach played them 10 minutes.
How long have you been at Liverpool now? It is end of September now. It's October today. He joined
He's
Liverpool
been here a
in
month.
August.
Exactly 1 month.
August. Eucharist was criticized 15th of August, a month after he joined Arsenal.
Day. It's October 1st.
Fine. To be
He's
honest
been here
with
1
you
month
guys,
more. Relax.
I actually think people are taking it easy, and I know Liverpool are top of the league, but the
But
performance
with
is some of
Isak,
them.
it's fitness. With Wirtz, we're not taking it easy. Don't say Isak and Wirtz is the same thing. Also, Isak already scored a goal. So he at least has one goal like in his bag. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like he hasn't scored a goal and he hasn't made an impact.
If you spend that much money on a player, even if he plays 45 minutes, I'm expecting him not to have 4 touches. 4 touches. Are you crazy? That's not
So you
Haaland,
just
that's
said me and
Isak.
Terry are being objective. 4 touches. So whose fault is it that Isak has 4 touches? Be honest.
But my issue with what you're saying
Do you
is...
think
Is it Haaland? Hold on.
Okay.
Was it Haaland? Was it Haaland? Why do people criticize Haaland when he had 5 touches? 10
Great.
touches?
You keep saying, why do people? Someone called you out yesterday for this. He said it's very weak to keep mentioning why do people. Argue with me. Did I criticize Jokeras? No.
But I'm not
Did I
only talking
criticize
to you,
Haaland?
but I'm not
No.
talking to you.
So
But
I'm
only talking
simply
to you.
no.
Because
No,
we
but
are
there
in
is a-
front
there's
of
a point,
2,500
there's a
people
point,
in the
there's a
chat. I'm
point
not
what
even
you're gonna
arguing with you.
You said Isak has 4 touches. Explain to
2,800.
me. Let me ask Mo, the football savant, a question. Why did Isak have 4 touches? Explain to me. Yalla, go ahead. The floor is yours.
No, because people are not giving him the ball because he's not moving enough.
Oh,
He's not getting
moving
involved.
enough.
Yeah.
Do you know that yesterday I saw Isak drop deep? I saw him on the left.
can say the
I
same,
saw
we
him
can say
between
the
the
same.
shoulders of the striker.
Slap.
No one's finding him.
Whatever.
No one's finding him.
Liverpool had more possession yesterday, and the forward didn't have touches.
Because we lack creativity. Because there isn't a system. Bro,
But we
all I
said
want...
that Isak-
You remember
I
the
said-
chances we
I
created for
said
Nunes?
myself-
I want us to create them for Isak. How's that too much to ask for?
No. I said the difference is I said that Isak, which is I believe he's capable of. I'm not changing my opinion based on what I saw in Newcastle, is able to create chances for himself. That's why I differentiate him from Erling Haaland, because Isak, based on the history and based on the signs we have seen, is actually able to create chances for himself. He did it for Newcastle many times. Create the chances for himself, right? I know that Liverpool fans are a little bit sensitive now. It is fine. You're top of the league.
We're
Don't
not
be
sensitive. He's just
not
not
you.
fit.
Not you.
He's
Yeah.
not fit. Literally.
He's not. Why is he playing?
Well, he's got to get fit, isn't he?
He has to get fit. Man, he get fit by playing.
Playing 45 minutes. Are you gonna have the same? Are people have the same energy for Saka then? Because he's come back from a hamstring injury.
Well,
Yes, when Martinelli came on for
You know
Saka,
what, Terry?
what did
You know
anyone
what,
say?
Terry? You know what?
Martinelli
I
got
would
subbed on for Saka against Newcastle. Did anyone say anything?
I would. He didn't have a good game. I actually.
That's
will
not the point.
accept-
See how he changed it? You're asking about fitness.
What do you mean?
If Saka's 100% fit, does Arteta take off Saka, bring on Martinelli? Be honest. No.
No, he doesn't.
Okay, khalas. So the problem is fitness. With
So
Saka,
Saka's not fit.
performance.
Why does he get criticized?
Once
Okay.
again, you're
Hang on,
having an
hang on.
existential conversation with
It's
someone
not.
that
It's
has
not with you.
criticized
guys.
Hang on,
Hold
let me just
stop.
jump in.
Hold
Let me
stop,
just-
stop.
I don't give
no,
a
no,
fuck
no,
what
no,
others
Terry,
say.
I'm
Terry,
gonna
to me.
I'm muting you both. First time I've ever done it. I'm muting you both. All right, calm down. You are having an external conversation. Sam's right, because yes, you said what we said is crap. I'm being objective, but I'm objective with City's new signings. I'm objective with Arsenal's new signings to a degree. Sometimes I have an opinion. I don't think a signing is very good, so I assess it that way. But I don't think Wirtz, I don't think Isak are bad signings, are bad players. So yeah, I'm objective. Like, we all have our own agendas. People don't like the word agenda anymore because it's used as a weapon. I'm not lying. I haven't criticised Gyökeres for not being at his best yet. I've actually criticised Arsenal for not creating him enough chances. I've got the same energy for Liverpool. I've criticised elements of the games of these players, but I'm not going down this road of writing them off and making massive, bold statements about them yet. Now, I could, and it goes very viral. You could do the Rory Jennings-Haaland thing, and you could do that now, but I just don't say things I don't believe. Some struggle to believe that, but it's the truth. So I hear what you're saying, Mo, and I'm going to unmute you both now. I was only messing around.
Okay, I'm going to add just one thing. The problem, guys, is that I sat here and I slaughtered Grealish for years on the Football Terrace, even before I make my own channel, right?
I know.
And I did the same for Enzo Fernandez, by the way. And I did the same for a lot of Arsenal players when they weren't performing good, right? A lot of them. The people that say that I'm glazing Arsenal. The difference is I have the same energy, Terry. I have the same energy.
I get you.
For everyone.
Let me give you an example though, where I think Grealish's situation is different. City were playing well, and he wasn't. If Liverpool were cooking right now, and Wirtz looked like he should be in League One, I think that's a different conversation. Liverpool are not at their optimum best, so therefore I think there's more than just. I don't think you take Wirtz out and suddenly Liverpool look like.
But with that much money, Terry, don't you think that with that much money, Mbappe got criticized and Vinny got criticized, even when Real Madrid were not playing well, because when you're in that stature, Pogba, when you're in that stature,
that's why. But that's why I have. But that's why
you levitate above the rest.
No. So
let me Terry, let me destroy Mo's point. Just one word. Look here. Here's the thing.
Go on.
So we're talking about price tags. Don't worry, I got another extra 10 minutes. Extra 15 minutes. I'll 5, 10.
Brilliant.
Okay. So here's my thing. Mo keeps talking about this stuff about what people said. Okay, I'm gonna use Mo's logic, which is what people said. Great. Caicedo. Let's talk about Caicedo. Expensive player. First season under Pochettino, 24/7 we spoke about Caicedo's price tag. Second season under Maresca, no one mentioned Caicedo's price tag. The reason is, what's the difference? It's not just the fact that Maresca came in versus Poch. No, it's the fact that Chelsea were doing really well. Chelsea ended up achieving all their objectives, which is finish top 4 and win the Conference League. Now, the reason why people aren't going in on Florian Wirtz as badly as people did is because Liverpool are currently still top of the league, which of course gives Liverpool a little bit of leeway. And on top of that, Florian Wirtz is not the issue at Liverpool Football Club, and it's been proven by the way that we play. So anyone who watches Liverpool right now, no one is watching Liverpool and going like, man, the issue is Florian Wirtz. No one is saying that. The problem is you watch Liverpool and you understand the strikers aren't getting chances, the wingers aren't creating chances, the number 10 isn't picking up the ball in dangerous positions. Yesterday, Tom Little broke it down on the post-match reaction. He was like, why is Florian Wirtz all the way on the left-hand side? Why is there a hole open in midfield? These are the questions we have to ask. So until these systematic issues get fixed, and I put Florian Wirtz in a position to succeed, I put Isak in a position to succeed. Isak, who is a complete footballer, had 4 touches. We're not here to just say stats without explaining them. Why did Isak have 4 touches? Because we didn't create him anything, because we didn't give him the ball, because we didn't link up play with him. Isak yesterday, 3 of his 4 touches, Mo didn't mention this, 3 of his 4 touches were when Isak went all the way to the left-hand side to combine with Kirk's 3 passes in a row. So that's the thing. Like, this is not like objective analysis. We can sit here and we can talk about Wirtz all day. Yes, we get it. He hasn't had a goal or assist. But I'll ask you all a question then. Do you both think Wirtz is shit? Obviously, the answer is no.
As a player, absolutely not.
Great. So you think he'll turn it around? He cannot turn it around by himself unless he turns it around.
Guys,
he might turn into Kai. It might be a Kai Havertz situation where he's brilliant at Germany.
Guys, let's jump into these super chats here because they're on the subjects, and it's going to take us some time to get through these, and we haven't even asked about the weekend yet. But Arsenal not creating enough for Victor either.
I'm so happy you sent that message, Albert Torre.
Husam have fucking said this. Yeah.
How many times did I say this? Even as a Arsenal hater, insert Rob crying. Even as an Arsenal hater, away at Anfield, I said I felt bad for Gyökeres because they created him nothing. You see, with me, you can disagree, but I'm consistent with everyone.
This here from Hakai says most people talked about Rice's price tag in his first year at Arsenal, but this is why it's going on. And there's just part of me, it feels like gang warfare, right? Without death, right? Touching wood. No one goes that crazy on socials. Well, you took one of mine, so I'm going to take one of yours. And the cycle goes on and on. It's you criticize my 80 million pound player, I'm going after your 90 million pound player. You were not objective with my 100 million pound player, so I'm not going to be objective with yours. And I feel the cycle has just got out of control now, personally. More criticism on Moreno, who outscored them all. Great point. Mo Gyökeres was bantered pre-season against Spurs. But let's call those people out. Husam wasn't doing that. I wasn't doing that. We were objective with both. Therefore, the challenge isn't with us.
Yeah, call them out.
This here says, so when Viets is a flop and Isak is a flop because of their price tag, so they fooled everyone, then don't just blame Liverpool, correct? Ridiculous. Look,
I never said they are a flop here. I think they're going to come good, but currently they are not playing up to their price tag. So we need to speak about them until they actually turn it around.
And I agree with you, but all I'm saying is there is a
guys, this is the example I would give. Let's fast forward 3 years. Let's just only because we're going to run out of time to do the super chats. Let's just fast forward 3 years. Liverpool won 2 Prems and a Champions League. But if Viets or Isak are looked at like Darwin Núñez, there can still be flops. Equally, Liverpool might win nothing, but Isak might have been scoring 40 goals a season and be looked at as a brilliant signing. All these things are possibilities. I think 8 games into the season is too early for conclusions.
Thank you.
With Saliba's new deal, do you think that Konate is going to Madrid? Van Dijk is also 34. Who replaces both of them in the next couple of seasons?
Yeah, I've already said I think Konate is going to Madrid. I think he's gone. I've given up on this Konate thing, bro.
There are plenty of centre backs. There's plenty of centre backs to be signed by Liverpool. Like, just not in the world.
Any player that costs more than 100 million must be judged the higher the price tag, the more they show on the pitch. I do agree that there is a judgment that comes with it, but at the same, again, and everyone's free to say, I think Viets is going to be a flop. I think Isak's. No one's saying you shouldn't have those opinions. I'm stating that I'm not making a conclusion yet. I don't think they will be. My mind hasn't been changed yet because it's too early to change my mind on this. And not saying you're saying this, Vibes. But if somebody does think that, feel free to say it. But the argument is there proof of it yet? There is no proof yet. There is no conclusion that can be made. At the moment, it's opinions. But people are trying to force conclusions, not opinions.
Can I ask a question before you do the next super chat with the chat here, guys? Do you guys still think that as a coach, after 8 games or 9 games, Arne Slot is better than Mikel Arteta as a coach? I just wanted to put this out there. Go ahead.
Bro, forget the system.
Who the hell does coach on form? That's the dumbest question you've asked in your life.
Okay.
No, because I saw that before. I said that before at the beginning of the season, Husam, about the coaching and finding a new system and embedding players and all this stuff. I said that.
This is Francisco says, bro, forget the system. Husam is waffling. They should be winning. How much does the... Fuck me, I can't even read that all together.
You can't even click spacebar properly, and you're here telling them off.
This team costs something.
This team cost a lot, so it doesn't matter how the team set up. He just said they're champs.
There we go. There we go.
Click spacebar next time, brother.
I'm dyslexic. That hurt me. Don kept saying Gyökeres is diving, bro. In the Newcastle game, I think it means Don Husam. If he were to take such a hard collision on his chin, would he? He would have. Collision. His other chin would tear on his ACL.
You know,
Cool.
Let me say something to you. Honestly, people like you just make me sad about the state of football and the state of the sport. If you expect me in 90 minutes during a watch along to speak like a librarian in a title race game, then this is the wrong sport for you. Just like there is so many sports that aren't tribal. Baseball is perfect. I recommend it. It's great for just wasting time. You get me?
Makes sense. Adam here says instant gratification is a fair claim, but we are adapting to new players and systems. So are Arsenal. This is from a City fan, Adam. People like Husam and many Paul fans have dismissed all competitors. So we should expect them to walk it.
Once again, I haven't dismissed all competitors. Go ask Martin, who's the City fan, since you're a City fan. He'll tell you the only one who said I'm worried about City on YouTube is Husam. So big up.
I also think, Adam, and there might be a word for it that I'm not educated enough to know, but there's a difference between calling somebody out on something they've said. So let's say Arsenal win the league. You can be like, Sam, you said you wouldn't be a competitor, if he indeed said that. That's different from you giving your own analysis of the situation. So if, for instance, somebody predicts United are going to get beat 4-0 by Sunderland this weekend, and we beat them 2-0 and play quite well, I might banter that person that got the prediction wrong and go how wrong they were on it. But that doesn't mean that's my actual analysis of the situation. There's fundamental distinction. A lot of people go, right, I'm going to base my whole season's agenda on what somebody else has said, as opposed to separating those. And I know it's hard. I'm not saying you're doing this, Adam, but I see it's on a lot of YouTube channels. It's why they don't grow. It's why they're pretty shit. Is everything's based on, well, you said that, so I'm just going to have the opposite agenda all year, as opposed to actually having their own opinions. And it's just very boring now. They are conceding goals almost every game, though. Now, Brandon, you're right. And this is an area that they've really got to fix. And I don't know if it's defense. I don't think it's defensive. I think it's about the midfield leaving spaces, but a great point. Husam was the biggest critic of Palmer during his poor patch when he had the most chances created in the league and the highest expected assists. Now he's crying about Wirtz hate.
I'm not crying about Wirtz hate. I'm pointing out why Wirtz isn't playing well. That's number one, Gilno. Number two, Gilno, you have developed a dislike to me where you don't even like it when I'm saying something objective and realistic, including about your club. So fuck Chelsea, and no one cares. That's number two. Number three, if you want to go based off chances created, let's see if Gilno keeps the same energy. You want to know who has the most chances created in the league? Florian Wirtz. Now what? Send a £5 super chat, Gilno, saying Florian Wirtz is the best 10 in the league, like you did for Palmer. Also, Cole Palmer is English. He came from Manchester City. He's used to the league. He was managed under Pep Guardiola. And in the last 10 months, he has one open play goal. Big up Cole Palmer. He's so clear.
Ben here says, do we as rivals have no capacity for learning from history? I remember back then, this isn't sustainable and they haven't played anyone. And now this, you're absolutely spot on when you say this. And again, people are right when they say the Liverpool's performances and the wins off the back of them are not sustainable long term. But I only ever find it to be half an opinion, because then when you say, do you think they're going to get better with performances or worse? Oh, better. Well, you're leaving that part out. So it's just, it's kind of rage baity, hanging it out there. And all they say both. And then what they can do is, if they'd ever get better, they can go, I told you it weren't sustainable. And if they get better, they can say, well, I told you that would happen. It's like a circular opinion where they can't be wrong. We see that more and more now, where people sit there and say, oh, you know, I think United will win against Sunderland, but this could go wrong. That could go wrong. They could get beat here. That might happen. This could go wrong. They list about 20 bad things, but also say, but I think they'll win. And that way they're protected. That means they're absolutely right, whatever happens. And that's what a lot of this is about, for especially the pundits. You know, the pundits actually celebrating that Liverpool lost to say, I was right. I told you they weren't very good. In that same clip where they said they weren't very good, they've said they're only in first gear and have got the potential to be much better. It's getting boring. Liverpool played basketball last season too. Difference is everyone who tried got spanked. Klopp's system slot copied, and now he needs to do his own homework.
I wouldn't say slot copied at all.
English talent here.
I just double checked, by the way. Most chances created for Premier League clubs in all competitions this season: 21 Wirtz, Grealish, 18 Mbuemo, 17 Bruno Fernandes. There you go. Top, literally. Gilno, go ahead. £5 super chat. Wirtz is the best 10 in the league. Use your logic for Palmer. He won't.
So much harder to retain a league than win it once. Ancelotti, Wenger never retained. Jose once in the Premier League, plus pressure. Exactly. This is also it. That you've got to look at. We did a stat when City first retained their title. And I'm going to get this wrong because I need to go back and look at it. But in 100 years, like retaining a title had only been done, I think it was like 9 to 10 times. It's not a regular occurrence in England. So all these things should play a factor in the analysis. It won't, because it doesn't fit the agenda. Husam climbing up his tree scared. I did want to ask you very quick answers. I know we're running out of time. Are Arsenal now the favourites to win the league, or is it still Liverpool?
No, Liverpool are the favourites.
Still Liverpool.
Yes.
Are you beating Chelsea at the weekend? Is what Nathan wants to know.
Yes, inshallah, we're beating Chelsea.
Okay. A serious question for Husam from Brandon. If he could go back to the summer, would he swap spending 200 million on Wirtz and Isak if it guaranteed them getting Mark Gahey?
Yes, I would still spend the money. Same way we did.
Okay.
Still would. I wouldn't change the way we spent money.
008 is what Muller says here.
By the way, a City fan,
influence
if
last
he
year
signed
is
for City,
laughable.
if he signed, who's erased his influence? So me saying it's Slots League title is erasing his influence? You're an Arsenal fan. If I said it's Emery's FA Cup, you would start bitching and crying in the chat. But I keep the same energy for both managers.
Sorry, already done that super chat there. Gone are the days of letting players integrate into a team. Social media has turned it into a pissing contest to grow their followers. I think there's a lot of truth in that. Some people do it for this reason, and a lot of it is tit for tat. You did this to my player, I'm now going to do this to your player. And I think, again, I'm just probably old and boring, but I just got to a point where I'm like, oh, this shit. You ever seen that clip, that meme, boys, of that old lady in England? They're saying, oh, there's going to be another referendum. And she goes, oh, no, not another one. That's kind of how I view this stuff now. The problem Liverpool have is... All right, mate, thank you. Sorry. The problem Liverpool have, you have cracks, but you're wallpapering over them. They are there, but if you keep winning, they won't exactly show.
But they will show. History tells us, Waldo, that performances always prevail. Always prevail.
Always,
City last
always.
season were top of the league in the beginning, and then Rodri got injured. And they won, by the way, they won 2 games after Rodri got injured, but it prevailed. City just fell off.
And this is why, I was having a debate yesterday with a United fan, David, very good guy. And he doesn't. I said that the Brentford game was awful, but other games earlier on this season, I thought we performed much better. And his view was, no, we didn't. They were essentially all the same. And I pushed back and I said, well, no, I don't think that the Arsenal performance and the Brentford performance were the same at all. I think we were much better against Arsenal than we were Brentford. We were much better against Burnley than we were Brentford. And we were much better away against Fulham than we were Brentford. And I think focusing on performances has always been key for me. But I feel like in football, there is this element of sometimes people care about performances, sometimes they care about results. It really depends upon the agenda that they want to push at that time. And I don't think the energy is the same. And I'm not saying that's David, by the way. He only just started doing, we have no idea. We'll see over the next 3 or 4 years with United, whether he gets a manager he likes and suddenly performances do matter when they're not winning. I can't cast that aspersion on him because we haven't seen it yet, but I definitely see it out there across socials. Making flop accusations after 8 games is hilarious. I agree. I get why we have to discuss certain players not performing, but we have only played 6 games. We should not overreact until Christmas. This is the thing. I think you can talk about a player not working yet. Should he be on the bench for a period? Should he be starting games? That's fair at this stage. Making an overarching conclusion that it's a flop, it hasn't worked, it won't work, I think's very premature. That's my point. My slow friend. Wirtz is a top player. Palmer was playing the same way in his poor patch, but you crucified him for it. You're a child, is what he's saying there. Liverpool's problem roots back to the beginning of this year. It's not just a few games. This is the beginning of a bigger explosion to come. Well, look, it's going to be an interesting one because if they don't get any better or get worse, and there's a big explosion and the signings don't work, and that carries on this season, goes into next season, as you're sort of suggesting here, there'll be a very different conversation. People like me will hold their hands up. It's really funny. I don't know if you get this, Sam. I think some people that are trying to become top content creators or grow in this space view things as, I need to be right about everything.
Never.
It's not about being right. It's about having, I think, good logic, but often it's personality and the way people feel about you, whether you're right or wrong. And thirdly, it's about being humble. And if Liverpool do flop this year, don't get better or get worse, if some of their signings end up being horrendous, I thought they'd be amazing. I'll just hold my hands up and say, I got this wrong. You dissect why it didn't happen, what they need to do to fix it, and you move on. Football fans, the reason I always, this is my message to young content creators: don't be obsessed about being right, because you're never going to be about everything. But nor are your viewers. Your viewers aren't right about everything, but they come back. What they come back for is your authenticity, your humbleness, and if you're entertaining. If you're not growing on socials, it isn't because you're not right about things. It's probably because you're boring. So you're better off working on your personality than your football opinion. If you're going to be absolutely honest, you really, really got to be mindful of that. I did your slide tackle highlights, Terry. Should be mandatory viewing for every guest of your show before they start spewing their lies. Again, everybody do it after. Go watch Husam after this because they're redirecting. But before the football tonight, it's about a 10-minute compilation. Great sliding tackles. Just watch them and look at the arms of most players make it. And I'm talking the proper lungy tackles to make blocks and stuff. The arms are always out to the side like this, or they're always out like that every single time. Well, that's a lie. I'm exaggerating. I'd say a good 60-70% of the time it's natural, but we don't notice it until the ball hits it. It's like it's invisible until the ball hits it, and then we notice the arm. So therefore, how can we say it isn't natural? Would love to get everyone's views on that another time. Look, I want to thank everyone today, and I want to say to everyone who's super chatted, this is probably the most generous show that you're most generous on outside of match reactions. So I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
It's the best straight facts. What are you talking?
It is the best straight facts. It is. We get the most interaction on this as well. You thought the Burnley game was good, Terry. Yeah, it was. We played very well against Burnley, barring the things I criticised, which was I thought the defending for the 2 goals was amateur. I think we switched off. I also criticised in that game a lack of clinical edge because we should have been 2-3-0 up. So I'm consistent. I was happy overall with the performance, but picked out 3 or 4 or 5 things in that game that I didn't like, that I thought was wrong. Equally, in games where we've lost, I've criticised the lack of finishing or the substitutions or taking off centre-backs, but I've also praised things that I thought was good. And if we'd have beaten... reason I would have loved to have beaten Brentford at the weekend was to not prove my point, but to show you the authenticity. I would have been angry with a win. If we score that penalty and go on to win 3-2, I would have gone, great, we won. I'd have gone in on the team because the performance was horrendous. And I do stand on this. People may disagree with me. That's their prerogative. The performance against Brentford, barring Grimsby because of who they are, the Brentford game was our worst performance of the entire season by a country mile. Barely a chance created. Couldn't adapt to them. The starting lineup was bad. The substitutions were awful. We did nothing. In all the other games, we had good moments. We had great chances to score. The results could have gone the other way, even if we weren't the best team. This game, not on your Nelly. Awful every step of the way. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in as always. You're so great. You really are. This is going to redirect you to Husam's channel. So go and support my brother over there. We're back tonight, live after the Champions League games. If you also want to see me on the United stand, I'm live at 7 p.m. tonight. So about an hour and a half, I'm live over there talking about why I want Man United to sack Ruben Amorim. So if you want to find out why, be there at 7. Take care, everybody. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all soon. Peace.